Hello there and welcome. I'm so very glad you've chosen to spend a little time with me today. Why don't you get comfortable, maybe grab a warm cup of tea, and we can just settle in for a gentle conversation. We're going to explore some ideas about health and well-being together, and I'm truly honored to have you here. You know those quiet moments, perhaps late at night, when the house has settled down and it's just you and your thoughts. Maybe you find yourself scrolling on your phone or your tablet, not really looking for anything specific, but looking for something. An answer, maybe, to why your knee has that little ache, or why a good night's sleep feels like a thing of the past. And then you come across a video. You see a friendly face, someone with kind eyes who speaks in a calm voice, and they're talking about a simple, natural way to feel good again. And it catches your attention, doesn't it? It speaks to that quiet little hope that I think we all carry inside. And I want you to know right from the start that you are not alone in this feeling. Not by a long shot. This desire to find a sense of vitality, to understand our own bodies just a little bit better, well, it's something that connects so many of us all around the world. It's a very human thing, wanting to feel strong and well. It's a search for a path that feels a little more in tune with nature and maybe a little less complicated than everything else seems to be these days. A big part of that journey is this idea of looking for the root cause. It's such a lovely thought, isn't it? The idea that instead of just, putting a Band-Aid on things, we could find out what's really going on underneath it all. I always think of it like a pesky weed in the garden. You can snip the top off every week, but it's just going to keep coming back. The real solution is to get down in the soil and gently work that root out. That's the feeling many of us are searching for when it comes to our own health. It really is the difference between just taking something for a headache and gently asking ourselves, I wonder what might be causing this headache. Did I not drink enough water today? Have I been staring at a screen for too long? It's about seeking a kind of deep, long-term wellness that comes from listening to our bodies, becoming partners with them, really, instead of just looking for a quick fix that only lasts a few hours. There's a well-known speaker on natural health, Barbara O'Neill, who has such a beautiful way of saying it. She says, your body is a remarkable instrument that can restore itself when given the right tools. Just let that sink in for a moment. A remarkable instrument. It's such a comforting thought. It suggests that our bodies are always on our side, always working for us. They have this incredible built-in wisdom, and perhaps our job is just to learn how to support them, to give them the right tools so they can do their wonderful work. It's an idea that can give us a real sense of hope and a feeling of being in the driver's seat of our own lives. And your curiosity about these things, the very fact that you're here listening, that's a wonderful and valid first step on any health journey. It shows that you believe in the possibility of feeling better. And that belief, right there, is the most important tool of all. And if this is a journey that you're interested in exploring more, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to the channel and perhaps like this video. It just lets us know that these conversations are helpful, and it encourages us to continue making them. And please, if you feel like it, leave a comment letting us know where in the world you're watching from today. It's just so wonderful to see where everyone is. It feels like we're all sitting around a big kitchen table, just sharing a cup of tea. Now, as hopeful as this all is, we also have to acknowledge that the internet can be a very confusing place sometimes. It can feel like walking into a giant library where all the books have been thrown on the floor. There are some wonderful treasures in there, for sure, but there's also a lot of clutter, and it can be awfully hard to know what to pick up or which voice to trust. And this is where we need to be gentle with ourselves, but also wise. On the one hand, you have these very hopeful messages about natural healing that make so many people feel empowered and capable. But on the other hand, you have health authorities in some countries who have raised concerns, warning that some of the advice you might find online could be risky if it's not fully understood. And sadly, there are always a few folks out there who will use a popular, trusted face to try and sell things that aren't real or helpful. And here's something new in our world that's good to be aware of. Some of the videos you see online aren't even made by real people anymore. There's a new technology that can copy someone's voice and face almost perfectly, and they might even create a fake news report, all just to get you to buy a product. It's a clever trick, and it's good to have our eyes open to it so we don't get taken for a ride. So, that brings us to the really big question, doesn't it? How do we find all of that good, helpful wisdom without stumbling into the confusing parts or the traps? Well, I think the best way is to focus on the simple, common-sense principles that seem to come up again and again, the ones that are less about a single miracle product and more about a gentle way of living. Why don't we explore a few of those together, nice and slow? Let's start with something I think we can all relate to: stress. Oh, it's a word we use all the time, but it's worth taking a moment to understand what it's actually doing inside our bodies. We often think of stress as just a feeling, that tightness in our shoulders or that hamster wheel of worry in our minds. But it's a very real physical thing that happens deep inside of us. When we feel stressed, our bodies release a hormone called cortisol. Now, in small bursts, cortisol is actually our friend. It's what gives us a jolt of energy to slam on the brakes in the car or deal with a sudden problem. But the challenge in our modern world is that the threat often doesn't go away. The low-level worry about bills, the constant news updates, the family concerns, they just sort of linger in the background. And when our bodies are releasing that cortisol all day long, day after day, well, it can just be deeply, deeply tiring for our whole system. A good way to think about it is like leaving the car engine running in the driveway all day and all night. It just wasn't designed for that. It's meant to get you where you need to go and then be turned off to rest. That constant state of being on, with the phone dinging and the worries churning, it puts a lot of wear and tear on the engine. Our bodies, in their great wisdom, need those moments of quiet to rest and repair. So the gentle wisdom here is simply about giving your system a chance to turn off. It's about finding little pockets of quiet in your day. For some, that might be a few moments of quiet prayer. For others, it could be sitting with a cup of coffee and just watching the birds at the feeder. Maybe it's putting on a favorite record from years ago and just closing your eyes. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even 5 minutes of stillness sends a message to your body that says, it's okay, you can power down now, you are safe. And that allows your whole system to find its natural, peaceful balance again. All right, let's move on to another beautiful idea that's really at the heart of natural health. And that's the concept of nourishing our bodies from the inside out. Now, this isn't about strict, complicated diets or feeling like you're missing out on things. Not at all. It's about looking at food as a loving way to care for ourselves, just as we would care for a beloved friend or grandchild. It's about choosing foods that give something back to our bodies. One of the ideas you might hear about is creating a healthy pH balance in the body. That might sound a little bit scientific, but the idea behind it is actually very simple. Think of it like the soil in a garden. If the soil gets too acidic, the plants can't get the nutrients they need, and they start to look a little sad and droopy. The thought is that our bodies are a bit like that garden. Things like a lot of stress or too many processed foods are thought to create a more acidic state inside of us, which can make it harder for our bodies to really thrive. So how do we encourage that healthy, balanced state, like good, rich soil in a garden? Well, the answer is beautifully simple: plants. Especially those dark, leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale and collard greens. These foods are just full of wonderful minerals like calcium and magnesium, and our body uses these minerals to help keep everything in that healthy balance. You see, it comes right back to that idea we talked about earlier, giving our body the right tools it needs to do its remarkable work. And it doesn't have to be hard. A handful of spinach in your morning omelet or a simple side salad with dinner can make a lovely difference. Here's another gentle thought from Barbara O'Neill that just captures this so perfectly. She says, treat your body as a temple. Fuel it with nourishing foods, keep it active, and nurture it with love. Isn't that a wonderful way to think about it? It's a call to respect and cherish these amazing bodies we live in. They've carried us through our entire lives, through all the joys and the sorrows. And choosing good food is one of the most direct ways we can show that respect and that love each and every day. Okay, so we've talked about some big, hopeful ideas. We've talked about the importance of finding quiet and the power of nourishing food. But we also know that the online world can be a bit of a tricky place to navigate. So how do you take these beautiful principles and move forward with a sense of calm confidence, knowing that you're on the right path for you? Let's just talk through a few simple, common-sense reminders. These aren't rules, just gentle guideposts for the road. First, it's always a wise idea to have a chat with your doctor before trying something new, especially if you have any health conditions you're managing. Think of them as part of your team. Second, if something you see online promises a miracle cure that will fix everything overnight, well, it's okay to be a little bit skeptical. Real, lasting health is usually a gradual journey, not a magic trick. Third, just notice how things make you feel. If you ever feel rushed or pressured to buy something right away, that can be a little red flag. Your health decisions should always feel calm and considered. And finally, if this path really calls to you, you might consider finding a qualified professional in your own community who can give you some personalized advice. But here is the most important thing I want you to remember, and please take this to heart. You have a deep, innate wisdom inside of you. You have lived in your body for your entire life. You are the world's leading expert on you. Trust that little voice inside. Trust your gut feeling. Your body is always communicating with you in quiet whispers.
a feeling of energy after a certain meal, or a sense of deep peace after a walk outside. Learning to listen to those whispers is the most powerful health tool you will ever have. Your own life experiences, the wisdom you have gathered over the years, it is all so incredibly valuable. And if you feel comfortable, I would be so honored if you would share something you've learned on your own health journey in the comments below. You just never know, your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And of course, just one last gentle reminder to subscribe if you found this time together helpful. It truly helps us continue to create these conversations for you.
As we begin to wind down our conversation, I just want to leave you with this one thought. Your health is a deeply personal journey. What works wonders for your neighbor or your sister or your best friend, well, it might not be what's right for you. And that is perfectly okay. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. It's about finding what makes you feel strong and peaceful and well in your own skin.
Many people, myself included, find great comfort in passages like this one from the Psalms. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Whether you find your comfort in faith or in nature or in the love of your family, this idea of a gentle, loving healing is a universal one. It speaks to a kindness that is available to all of us, a sense of peace that goes beyond just the physical body and touches our whole being.
In the end, this journey isn't about finding one single secret or that one miracle cure. It's about the small, consistent, loving steps we take each day. A quiet moment here, a nourishing meal there, a walk in the fresh air, a phone call with someone you love. These are the things that build a life of well-being, one gentle step at a time. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Be well.